So part 2 of Unbecoming a First Lady title that I never asked for. Our first date, he drove down. I'm still a little cautious, so I didn't give him my address. I met him somewhere. And from there, it seemed like everything was good. He opened the door. I got in the car. And I had a friend of mine, her and her husband, meet us at the restaurant so we could double date. So that I'm not, alone with a stranger, because in the sense he's a stranger. In the parking lot, he was kind of aggressive and he kissed me. And I was taken aback. I was shocked. But the first thing I thought in my mind was, I didn't want to mess it up. Now, mind you, this is the first day, so I don't really know a whole lot about him, just what we've discussed over the phone. So in my mind, I was like, maybe this is what they do on first dates now. And it didn't feel uncomfortable in that moment. He was just like, I saw you and I wanted to kiss you, and I just went for it. And so it didn't feel like a slime ball. It didn't feel, awkward or anything. We got to the restaurant. We sat next to each other, and he was kind of close. And during the date, he rubs my back. He was real, soothing. And my intuition wasn't really, going off. First date. And after we finished eating, we decided to try to find another spot to go to. And my friend said, I was surprised because you seemed so comfortable with him. Like you were smiling, he was rubbing on you, you put your sweater on, like you seemed so, relaxed. And even she said, normally you always have on all black. Every time I've seen you, you've had on all black. But today you got on colors. And the first day, I'll be honest, he had one of these little stupid cars electric cars that had to be charged. So the first day he was supposed to come down, he didn't, because he couldn't find a station here that he could plug up with. I wasn't into that. I didn't know, where he could go or whatever. And so the first day he didn't come. That should have been a red flag. I should have deleted, blocked, everything. But he was so apologetic, and he promised that when he did come, he would make it up to me. So, I didn't put a whole lot of effort. Like, I'm Mrs. Throw that shit on. So whatever I put on, it's gonna look good anyway. But I didn't feel like, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do the bare minimum, because if he decides not to show again, I haven't wasted a lot of energy. So, even standing in front of the restaurant, there was a white lady with her mom, and they were like, oh my God, you're so cute. And they end up taking our picture in front of like the menu that was outside of the restaurant. And we looked at the picture and we was like, we do look good together, make a nice little couple. I didn't know that he was trying to groom me into being this showpiece, this first lady of some shit that didn't really exist. It was, of course, after COVID. He said during COVID, he had kind of shut the church down and was just being a minister online. And it made sense. COVID shut down a lot of things. Even here, the churches had shut down, and they was working online. And, we had connected on, I'm not that first lady to sit on the front pew. I'm not, that's never going to be, I'm in the background if this goes anywhere. I'm still not convinced though. So, the first day went really well. In a sense, there was something he did in the car that really was an indication that he was not what I was looking for. And I should have, that was a super red flag. I should have walked away at that moment. This was after the date. So I had an event And because he and I were spending so much time on the phone, I wasn't prepared for my event like I should have been. Like I should have had my car packed up before. I should have had this done, this done. Then the next day I had a meeting, a brainstorming workshop meeting. He kept me up all night and I was tired and unprepared for it. So he was like, I'm gonna give you the money that you would have made at your event, since it's kind of my fault you know, wasn't prepared for it. And so here I am thinking, okay, he's investing in me and in my vision. And throughout the entire relationship, if you will, he was investing in my business. He was taking me to stores where that I had never been in, and he was purchasing herbs and things for my business. And so each red flag was wiped out with a green flag. And I seen something where, you know, I'm watching a story where they're saying, you know, pastors will hook you, you know, hook, line, and sinker if you aren't sure, or if you don't know, if you've never dealt with one before. The gift of gab was his bread and butter, right? And then the way that he treats you when you out. And even one of the first things he asked me, was my bag fake? And I was like, why would I have a fake bag? He Googled the bag. I didn't even know he paid attention. He Googled the bag to see the price tag on the bag, knew that it was real. Just a lot of shit that I was like, wow. And one conversation we had later on was, you know, I was like, I don't trust pastors and I don't respect first ladies because they let men get away with so much more because of his title. And he told me, he said, it's true. The pastor that preaches the best sermon gets the most. And I said, I can't believe it. I can see how, you know, y'all operate. I can't believe it, which is one of the reasons why I don't want to date a pastor. And it was, again, red flags. Like, if you, I don't know, something was telling me, if he could tell me that, if he was willing to admit that to me, then now I know, you know, I got to be up on my game. But everything that I was undoing about myself, he hated it. I was trying to go completely natural. You know, I'm pescatarian, so I don't eat, you know, all of the red meats, the chicken, the pork. I don't eat all of that. I had started being more, playing in the dirt more flowers. You know, I was just trying to develop and take my mind off of what was going on with me and my daughter and trying to put it into nature. And so I wasn't going to the nail salon. I've always been a nail girl. I've always been lashes, you know, straight hair. And I was slowly coming out of that. And so it was, with your natural hair, it doesn't look like you even made an attempt. You should wear it straight. You need to get your nails done. It was more of this, you know, demanding things, which was something that, you know, I didn't mind because it was something I'm used to doing, but it was just the way he was saying it. But then it was like, here, take this money, go get it done. You know, this is the way I prefer you to look. The penthouse that he stayed in, he was like, there's team owners here, you know, we got to look the part and this, that, and the third. And the way he was saying it, it made it seem like he cared about me and me looking good for him. It wasn't that I was just a shoulder piece, but then it would be at night, I would get ripped apart. I would get torn down. I would be made to feel lesser than, not enough. He did everything in his power to break my willpower, to break my spirit, everything he could to tear me down. And nobody would be around. It would just be me and him. And it was done in a way that I was like, are you stupid? You listening to him? Like, you really listening to him? And then I got to the point where he a good man, Savannah. He's a good man.